Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Biohax podcast with Dr. D. So today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty about hormones, why maybe perhaps hormones have been vilified. Should you be on hormones? Why are doctors more inclined to wanting to prescribe hormones? So there's so much that goes into it. So let's get into it. In looking at the hormone industry today we stand exactly this time and date. We stand at a very special time because the FDA has just announced initiating the removal of the black box warnings on hormones. You know, we've been doing this going on 8 years. Over the years, so many times, in so many different occasions, has occurred that doctors and other people have come against me and my colleagues saying, you know, hormones are bad for you, hormones cause cancer, etc. The truth is, we're living a renaissance now with hormones. The thing that's very sad is that you look back in time, you look back at these women that were not prescribed hormones that could have helped them cardiovascularly, could have helped them with their bones, could have helped them with their mental health, and just in general with symptoms of menopause, which are very severe at times. And your endocrinologist from Harvard or Princeton, or it doesn't matter, you know, wherever they're from, might have just told you, no, hormones are bad for you. And why did I just name some big institutions? It doesn't matter where the person's coming from. Many times, it's some of these, your highest rated doctors, if they're not thinking outside the box, they're giving patients what today is considered wrong advice. Hormones were extremely vilified, and we're taught in medical school, hey, these are the guidelines in medical school. A woman that is having a hard time with a menopause, you prescribe SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are anxiolytic and antidepressant medications. And it's like, why? Why not fix what's broken? What's the problem? Her hormones declined. Listen, I love saying this. I say this all the time. You have two chemical interventions in your life. One's called puberty. The other one is called menopause for women or andropause for men. And andropause, that word is not very much used, but I definitely think it should be used. And it's something that is occurring much sooner for men than it should be. And these symptoms of menopause and andropause, and for a lot of women, they're severe. They're very severe, and it influences their mental health greatly. And speaking of mental health, I think anybody that is in having issues with mental health, I think it's a sin that the psychiatrist does not talk to the endocrinologist. Psychiatry and endocrinology should be together and hand in hand. But that's almost a topic for another day when we do mental health and talk about hormones. But so looking at, you know, this new situation that we're in where hormones are being looked in a favorable way, this is super, it's a huge win. Listen, bioidentical testosterone has been around since 1940. It's a long time. And yet we've always vilified it. And let's get into the topic. Why have hormones been vilified? It boils down to a few different things, but always boils down to business and money, etc. And let me get into it with you guys. See, you can't patent anything that's in nature. You can't patent a magnesium. You can't patent a vitamin E. You can't patent selenium. You can't patent oxygen. It's in nature. You can't patent ozone. The blue thing in the sky, that's ozone. These are not patentable molecules. So, can you patent testosterone? No, you cannot. Can you patent estrogen? No, you cannot. Can you patent progesterone? No, you cannot. And why can't you patent it? And so if you're listening to me, it's like, why can't I patent this? Well, you can't patent it because it was present in nature before. So if you're big pharmaceutical A, the other person's big pharmaceutical B, the other one's big pharmaceutical C, and I'm big pharmaceutical D. And I come up to you guys and I say, hey, I just patented vitamin D. Okay. So what does that mean? And I'm like, well, I'm the only one that can sell it. You guys can't sell it. You guys are going to be like, well, screw you. I'm going to sell it too, or none of us are going to make it. And that's how that rule kind of plays. Like they all agree that none of them will patent anything that's in nature. So then you start running into issues because, okay, how are we going to treat the human biochemistry. How are we going to treat pain? How are we going to treat all these different things that the humans go through? That's when you have to create things that are similar to the resources that our biochemistry requires. Instead of having isomolecular molecules like the bioidentical hormone, you have an analog of the hormone. You see, years later, after I graduated medical school, like I remember that word analog this and analog that and analog this. And I don't know, analog, all right, it's an analog. And it never really hits you when you're in medical school. You're trying to drink water out of a fire hydrant. It's like so much information's coming at you every day. Very few things are you going to contest or try to corroborate, right? You're just going to accept and keep moving. Nor has your mind matured to question the system, etc. Once you really start looking at this analog and isomolecular conversation, you see that the hormones that your body makes are different than the hormones that are prescribed. Example, Premarin. That is a hormone that's prescribed to menopausal women that need estrogen. And then the doctors that prescribe that darn thing are okay with it. Don't look into the studies. And this is where I get upset, where it could be like your top most condecorated doctor, etc. But if they're very inculcated and indoctrinated in what they're taught and don't think outside the box, woe unto you, because that doctor can actually harm you. So Premarin, what does Premarin stand for? Premarin stands for pregnant mare urine. It's horse urine. It's literally horse urine. So they have a bunch of female horses in farms, impregnate them, give them Flomax, make them pee, extract the pee, then goes down a pharmaceutical process, and from that pee, make your grandma and your mom's medication. No, that's not cool. And yes, does that cause cancer? Absolutely. Inclusively, if you get into the details of when Premarin was coming out to the market and the clinical trials, etc., this medication should have been recalled and never was recalled and was let go into the market. If you give a woman bioidentical estrogen, if you give a woman, when need be, obviously, again, everything has to be with clinical necessity, and it's not just take it willy-nilly. But when you give a woman bioidentical estrogen, bioidentical progesterone, and she indeed needs it, or balance also her estrogen to progesterone ratios where she's not estrogen dominant, you will get a new woman, and you will improve her longevity. Epigenetically, you will improve her life. You will make her feel better. You will make her think better. You will make her be better sexually, bone density, cardiovascular, like your arteries in your heart, for you not to form plaque, they need estrogen. They need estrogen. And there's plenty of studies with estrogen inhibitors for breast cancers, such as anastrozole and letrozole, etc. These medications, they're called aromatase inhibitors. They actually affect the heart in a deleterious way because you decrease estrogen and you increase the amount of plaque that the heart can be accumulating, right? So when you give these women these hormones, you improve their life. They become and feel way better. And many times, younger women, when their ratios are off, when they're not feeling right, and especially when they cannot have kids, many times it's PCOS until proven otherwise, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And what do doctors prescribe that? What was I taught in medical school? You prescribe metformin. And I remember being in med school, I'm like, whoa. This lady has a problem with her ovaries. She has too many cysts in her ovaries, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is defined as more than 11 cysts per ovary on ultrasound. But I'm going to give her a diabetes medication, metformin. That like broke my brain. Why? Because it's insulin resistance, etc. It's a whole pathway. Look how detailed and how intrinsic this is. Your metabolism and your hormones, they're intertwined. Won't get too much into the details right now, but insulin resistance can cause issues with the feedback loop between your ovaries and the pituitary, which will then cause issues with the pulsatile signal coming from the pituitary to the ovary, and the ovary basically doesn't get the signal right, and instead of releasing the ovum, it retains it. Same thing with progesterone. And a lot of times the woman will not have a child. She will not have a child. She's having a hard time having a kid. Or she will get pregnant, but then will lose the child. What is the name of the hormone? Progesterone. Pro meaning for, gest for gestation, own hormone. Hormone for gestation. Many times you give a young girl in gestation age trying to have a kid, and you give her the progesterone, now that endometrium becomes thicker, etc., more receptive for implantation of the ovum, and boom. And now the couple can have a kid. Super, super important, but these things are not talked about. However, women, what happens when they say they have PCOS? What do? They end up giving them birth control. And birth control, they're not bioidentical. Do those cause cancer? Yes, they're linked to cancer. That's a problem. That indeed is a problem. When looking at hormones, we have to look at hormones from a perspective of bioidentical versus non-bioidentical. Do non-bioidentical hormones cause cancer? These analogs, answer is yes. Can they cause autoimmune disease? Yes. They basically inflame you. What happens? Your body looks at a hormone and is like, whoa, what the heck is this? I've never seen this before. And then it calls the immune system, hey, come attack this thing, get it out. But what it does, it causes your body to fall into a phenomenon of immune dysregulation. So you become dysregulated. And with that immune dysregulation, inflammation, etc., and ultimately you end up developing disease. So you see, when looking at hormones, you have to look at hormones from an aspect of this. Is this the exact molecule that my body has always functioned on? Or is this a different molecule? Is this a progesterone or is this a progestin, which would be the analog? Oh, I don't believe a word you're saying. Even if you're a doctor out there, listen to this. I'm going to give you a huge pearl right now. And doctors don't even go on this website. I'm going to give you a website for you to look up your molecules. Anything. Doctors really like reading PubMed.gov, government website, NCBI, National Database of Medicine. But doctors don't usually ever read PubChem.gov, which is the chemistry database. So every molecule, every protein sequence, etc., everything has to be published in there that's ever been discovered. If you want to corroborate what I'm saying, go to PubChem, not PubMed. Go to PubChem and search for Premarin. If you start searching in there, you're going to start seeing the word equine, which means horse, right? And you'll verify a lot of what I'm saying. So every time you're going to put something in your body, even things you're going to eat, put it in PubChem, find the molecule there, get the exact name, the nomenclature, etc., and then go do research on it. And I would invite you not even to do research only on PubMed, but on Google Scholar. Google Scholar has a lot of the studies worldwide. I love reading. Why not read Russian medicine, German medicine, Brazilian medicine? I read everything. I love being American. I think it's the best country in the world, but I do like seeing what other people on our planet are publishing, are talking about. And guess what? There's a lot of smart people outside the country. So looking at hormones, I want you guys to understand there's a big narrative, and our chronic care system is needing a revamp. And one of the biggest things that we could do to help our system is start looking at bioidentical hormones as a solution for many of the issues our population is having, be it mental, cardiovascular, rheumatological. Your whole body needs hormones. Hormones are essential and very, very important for your body. And I hope this helps you guys to understand a little bit why things have been challenged. You can understand a little bit why the narrative has been to not push bioidentical hormones because they can't patent them. Now, moving forward, I'm going to go down hormones 101. Who are the people that need hormones? Why would you need hormones? So listen, nowadays we live in a point in time. We're being castrated, men. Our hormones are under attack. We live in a point in time where our hormones are under attack. We need hormones to be the person or to be the people we were designed to be on this earth. You remember from Rocky, Eye of the Tiger? The eye of the tiger is based fully biochemically on testosterone. The eye of the tiger, that let's go, that positive aggression, that Monday morning, let's go, that's the eye of the tiger. If you feel like you don't have the eye of the tiger anymore, or maybe never even had, because we see that 18-year-old kids nowadays, the mom is pissed, the dad's pissed, the kid doesn't get off the couch, but it's like, hold on. Your kid's testosterone was supposed to be somewhere around 800, 900, 1,000, 1,300. You know what it is, mom and dad? The minimum is 300 and his is 150. How do you expect him to get up off a couch? How do you expect him to go and chase his place under the sun in this planet? He just won't do it because he does not have that eye of the tiger. He doesn't have the hustle. He doesn't have the grind inside of him. And same thing goes for women. The young adult is not feeling right. She needs to get going. She needs to, be on her A game, and she's emotional. She's not thinking straight, and her life isn't really aligned. And many times your life is not aligned because your biochemistry is unaligned. Think about that for a second. The life you live, there's a biochemical fingerprint connected to it. What is yours? Is your vision board connected with the biochemistry that you need to execute that vision board? And many times we as parents, we're demanding and requiring and want our adolescent and young adult children to fulfill sometimes our dreams that we see for them, and we're not getting, and that's not occurring. Why? Because they don't feel right. Their biochemistry is not right. But if we're ignorant to this conversation, guess what? We're going to antagonize them, etc. And I'll even challenge you, you'll probably end up hurting your relationship with your child because you won't understand the pain that they're in. And if they don't understand the pain that they're in, that's when they start to reach out to different substances to improve how they feel. And listen, I'm not a health marketer. I'm not a biohacker that just came around, yesterday. It's that I've been in rooms with families where I have to tell sometimes the manager for that big name rapper, or I have to tell the manager for that big athlete or manager, whatever, leave them alone. They're using those things because they don't feel good. What would you do if you didn't feel right? But when somebody has that eye of the tiger, man or woman, guess what? They don't need to reach out for stupid stuff. They don't need to go to that, I hate this term, happy hour to feel happy. Being intoxicated with alcohol, et cetera, and God knows, that's when they feel happy. How sad is that? No, your chemistry should be balanced properly. So who are the people that need hormones? Everybody at an older age, you need to supplement your body with hormones. You need to. No questions asked. Your health depends on it. Now we know through epigenetics that hormones are super important. Hormones will help you to live longer and will help your health span, your quality of life. You can't practice anti-aging without bioidentical hormones. You can't. You cannot. Period. They are a crucial part of the equation for you to live longer and have a higher quality of life. We know that epigenetically, we have so many attacks to our hormones on a day-to-day basis. The food you're eating, it's not food anymore. It's this biochemical goop of God knows what. These companies need to be sued because they're filling our children with endocrine disruptors. They are poisoning our kids every day. You are being poisoned every day. Aerosols, by the radiation that you're getting hit with, the food you're eating, the smoke you're breathing in, etc. What are you going to do about it? Just, okay. I live in a cement jungle. This is how it is. No, there are interventions. If you're listening to this, it's because you want to be better, right? And there are solutions. Heck, I live in, downtown Miami. Nice little cement jungle over here, right? Too. But there are things you could do to improve how fast you're aging, to improve your longevity, to improve the quality of life. One thing that I recommend for you guys, there's so many of these hormone clinics popping up, and you come in, they give you a little, it's like candy, the estrogen blockers for men, etc., which are nothing more, nothing less than anti-cancer medication for women. So many times we got to fix people that come from these clinics. Just because random Joe Schmo opened the clinic and doctors don't know what they're doing as it relates to this. One thing, I won't go down this rabbit hole. There's so much I would say in regards to this. Considering doing DIM. DIM is it's an extract of broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, etc. Versus anastrozole. And I really hope you're not doing things like letrozole, etc. Those are chemotherapeutic agents for breast cancer. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Your body doesn't know what that is. Your body knows what DIM is. Oh, this is inside broccolis. I'm designed to eat broccolis. It's okay. Your body doesn't know what the heck anastrozole is and will attack it. So, being on that stuff weekly for the rest of your life, not a good idea. But anyways, so people go to these wellness clinics, etc., and they're, testosterone and anastrozole, testosterone, or women with their hormones. And women need testosterone too, by the way. We'll talk about this in a second. And what happens is you fail to see the things that are hurting your hormones or things that you need. Okay, so you fail to see things like the endocrine disruptors that are in your body and actually really hurting your hormones. Sometimes your favorite protein powder is stuffed with endocrine disruptors that are destroying your testosterone. Taking the protein powder in the first place to gain muscle, but if it's full of endocrine disruptors, what happens? You lose the muscle because you're destroying your testosterone. Well, and you're not only destroying your testosterone, you're opening the gateway of inflammation to start perhaps cancer down the line, autoimmune disease, etc. A little bit of endocrine disruptor from, my yogurt, a little bit of endocrine disruptor from my protein powder, now a little bit of endocrine disruptor from my sandwich, my little processed sandwich. Oh, some nitrosamines from the deli products, etc. And then guess what? You go to the doc one day, I have these weird symptoms, and the doc tells you it's cancer. You know what's the most important thing for your health? Information. Do not veer away from this. Gain information as it relates to your health. It's your responsibility for you and for your family that you have, that you will build, or maybe you don't want to build, but it's your responsibility for you and for those around you. It's like Solomon says in the Bible in Proverbs, wisdom comes to you and knocks at your door and tries to show you the way. But if you don't listen, one day when you call on wisdom, wisdom's going to be laughing at you in your calamity and will not come to help you. That's in the Bible. It's in Proverbs. It's in the beginning of Proverbs somewhere. I don't remember the verse. So be wise. Listen to this. Understand this, because your health, your life literally depends on it. And it is the biggest return to improve your health. It's not only to live longer, but it's the quality of life. I always say this, what's the human currency? Energy. Hormones give you a lot more energy. Many times you guys are in a state of fear. Why? Because you don't have that eye of the tiger. You don't have that energy. You don't have the mental energy. Mental energy. What's your brain power? Many times you don't have brain power and you're in a state of fear and you can't deal with life because sometimes it's just your hormones. As crazy as it may seem. And we have gotten people trying to commit suicide. The craziest stuff. We've had people that have been Baker-acted multiple times come to us on medication. Obviously, they're getting medicated at their psychiatrist. We start changing their lifestyle. We start removing endocrine disruptors. We start really fixing their hormones. Like I told you, a lot of these wellness clinics just give you the hormones, pat on the butt, and you pay your, it's the target of healthcare, right? No. We look deep down inside. What are the things that are disrupting your hormones, right? Remove these things, etc. And guess what? These people feel better. And then they come back to us because they have had discussions with their psychiatrist, etc. And they're off their medications. That's a huge win. That's a huge win, but that's knowing how to indeed modulate hormones. A vast majority of these mental health cases that we have are women. And women, actually today I woke up with a text message from one of our clients, very prominent individual that perhaps even some of you guys would know, having issues with this regard. And it's like, and this person knows how to tune themselves. They actually know, hey, I need to be at this balance, etc. For whatever reason, they haven't been too on top of their health game. And they're like, hey, I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to go back into my dark place. Look at that. And this person already knows, though. This person's like, hey, can we adjust? Like, they come in, we adjust them, boom, they feel great again. Guys, hormones are super important for you. And not even, yes, these are sexual hormones. How's your sex life going to be? Hey, yeah, Tarzan, you'll go back to Tarzan. It's a huge difference. You feel very different when you're on hormones. Your libido, or your sex drive, and your sexual performance, which is a different story. Wanting it and not being able to perform, or sometimes performing and not really wanting it, two different things. I think the worst one would be wanting it and not being able to perform, because that messes with your mind, etc. Can make you depressed, very difficult. It's dangerous many times to modulate a woman and not modulate the man at the same time, or modulate the man and not modulate the woman. Look, there's women that are like, no, I think, in their 50s, 60s even, no, I think sex is, I've heard women tell me like, hey, I think the devil made sex. I don't want to have sex anymore. I hate sex, etc. It's like, really? Yeah, no. And she's like, my husband wants to have sex now. You guys fixed my husband. And like, now what am I going to do? And they're like, and I remember this one particular lady and I was like, okay, do you want us to fix it? She's like, yeah, sure. We went a little heavy duty on her hormones. She comes back. Well, no. She doesn't come back they come back together. So I asked him, so how are you guys doing? And the guy's like, well, I don't know what you did to my wife, but that might have been too much. I said, wait a minute, that was too much? And she's like, yeah, we need to shut this off. She's like, this is demonic. She's like, it was too, I thought you said sex was demonic. She's like, no, it's too much. This is too much. Shut it off. And then the guy's like, yeah, I need you to tone it down a little bit. So women, if you're struggling in that department, I promise you there is hope for you. And I will tell you more. It seems like men have a limiter, but women, if you really get those hormones right, you'll have them break that man's prostate. I promise you. It feels like the women don't have a limiter. It's harder to get them started, but once they go, it's like, it's actually funny story. I remember this funny story. And then I'm actually just remembering another patient. Same thing. Couple comes in for, sexual performance, etc. And the guy, again, his hormones are modulated. The woman's like, struggling, whatever. So, having a consult, our team's having a consult with them. And then the guy, we say, his wife needs some testosterone. He's like, he pulls me aside. He's like, Doc, what do you mean testosterone? Women take testosterone too? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, wait a minute, they run on testosterone? I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, well, shit, if I would have known, I would have given her testosterone a long time ago. And he was a very expressive man, and he used some different words that I just used right now. And hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I was rolling on the floor. And again, they came back super happy, etc. So women, testosterone is a thing for you. And one more thing that I want to talk about with you guys is this huge fallacy in medicine. I think this is going to be one of the biggest things. I can't wait for the day that we have an announcement and they're like, oops, this was all wrong, which is cholesterol. 90% of your cholesterol, you know where it comes from? It's so delicate. Your body doesn't even delegate it to your diet. 90% of your cholesterol comes from you. Your body makes the cholesterol. And the cholesterol that you eat is very little absorbed. Why am I talking about cholesterol on a hormone lecture? I'm talking about cholesterol because guess where your hormones come from? Cholesterol. If there's no cholesterol, there's no hormones. If you Google or look up cholesterol hormonal pathway, you're going to see the first molecule is cholesterol. It makes DHEA, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, etc. It makes all your hormones, all your steroid hormones. Makes all your steroid hormones. So when they tell you lower your cholesterol, that is wrong. Cholesterol is very much necessary for you. Your hormones come from cholesterol. Another thing, cholesterol is not a fat. Cholesterol is not a fat. It's a lipid. It's a lipid. All fats are lipids, but not all lipids are fats. It's not interchangeable. Cholesterol is a lipid. I'll tell you more. You know why cholesterol is called cholesterol? 1784, it was found in the gallbladder. And we tend to name things that are prevenient, come from the gallbladder. Like we use the prefix chole for cholesterol in medicine. Choledocholithiasis, cholecystitis. These are all states of inflammation, different states of inflammation of the gallbladder, right? We put chole before. So guess what? Cholesterol. It's an ester. It's not a fat. And we keep calling it a fat. Your doctor will call it fat, and your doctor will tell you stop eating fats. It's the biggest mistake ever. So in 1870, Dr. Richard Virchow, a very famous German pathologist. But guys, keep this in mind. You need cholesterol for your hormones. Cholesterol is super, super, super important for your hormones. And you need to understand what kind of cholesterol do you have. 90% of your cholesterol is made by you. So guys, looking at the whole conversation with hormones are very much important in your life. And as we age and as this world gets more toxic, you will not be able to execute your life without hormones. You know, when you want to go and you're on the stimulants, the excess coffee and the energy drinks, and hopefully many of you, this is not the case, but unfortunately, statistically, we know it is the case. The United States consumes 70% of prescription drugs worldwide. And many of you are on the stimulants like Adderalls and the Ritalins, et cetera, go. And then you know what? Now you're on overdrive. Now, and then you take a downer, you take your upper, you take your downer, take your upper, you take your downer. And many times the solution is to balance your hormones. And I'm going to tell you guys something because we've dealt with a lot of cases like this. People come in on their uppers and downers, like hardcore drugs. Hormones are very powerful, but not as powerful as that. For those of you, that's when deeper biohacking, deeper biochemistry modulation is required to get that desire away from you for those nefarious chemicals. But hormones, even so, hormones lay the groundwork. Hormones are the pillar to get people off of these nefarious drugs. Hormones are necessary for your life. Okay, I'm not going to get in today. Don't have the time to get into the itty gritty of balancing the hormones and DHEA, etc. Perhaps I could do another lecture on how we would teach doctors, for example, to modulate hormones. As I gave you guys some tidbits here to maybe substitute your anastrozole for DIM. We spoke a little bit about the PCOS and how it's actually a metabolic issue where you need a fixed diet and lifestyle, etc. But maybe we could do a deeper lecture on this. And I will do another lecture on steroids, your regular gym, your gym junkie, right? And the hormones that they take and the difference between those hormones and the hormones that we're talking about here. Can you achieve a six-pack? Can you achieve muscle? Can you be ripped? Well, I'm here to tell you as a 40-year-old doc, you can. But the thing is, there's a healthy way to do it that will improve your lifespan and health span. Guys, I hope this helps you today. I hope you understand a little bit of the narrative, what's been going on over the years. And guess what? We're in a great, great place in time right now. In good old America, America has taken a shift, allowing the conversation with bioidentical hormones. Is it the right time for you to take your hormones? If you have young adult children, adolescent children, start keeping an eye on their hormones. Keep an eye in the pantry. Get rid of those endocrine disruptors. Stop cooking on the Teflon. Stop allowing those volatile organic compounds in the house. Stop allowing the glyphosates, the DPT, all that stuff. All that stuff. And I know I'm speaking fast here, and for a lot of you guys, this is all new stuff. It's such a large topic, and what I'm going to ask you guys is to tune into our next episodes. I will be breaking down these topics. We'll be talking about these herbicides, pesticides, etc., how they influence your life. I don't care. I will talk truth. I will speak truth. Do your own research, and if it makes sense, keep listening to us. I hope to see you guys on the next podcast. Stay healthy, stay strong, live long. See you soon. Dr. D.